Everyday Superpower signing in, where we talk body language, game, okay, seduction, attraction, repulsion, and everything in between. There's 2 links in the description of this video. One will take you to my YouTube playlist of videos covering the top to bottom to A to Z of body language. Yes, you'll learn how to read people on a completely subconscious basis, internalizing some real good stuff. Yeah. Now, alternatively, there's a link to the Patreon where you'll be able to watch, observe, and internalize attraction and repulsion cues by watching real dates in real time with me as I tell you the game, yeah? You won't learn that information anywhere else. Now, let's move onwards. I'm going to talk to you about being an honourable man and being respected by not only women but by your fellow man as well. Yes. Own up to who you are and be completely honest and comfortable in yourself. Now, it's easier said than done, and there's going to be dark recesses of your nature and your psyche and your character that you don't want to allow out into the world. Now, don't get me wrong, they'll show up one way or another, probably outside of your awareness, but you must have complete extreme ownership of who you are and who you are not. Yes, because when you're in communication with others, there's nothing worse than an insecure man. People will see through your nonsense. Yes, one does not have to be incredibly perceptive to know when one is insecure about themselves and putting on an impression of somebody they are not. I see it all the time. I've seen it my entire life. You have seen it your entire life. And when I was younger, I will have put out an image of somebody whom I was not. Not on a consistent basis, but within a particular realm, you know. I may have been hurt and put my best foot forward, implying and putting forth and overcompensating with a characteristic which wasn't necessarily me. So if you're speaking to a woman and she identifies that you are a liar, it's gonna come around and hit you hard. Yes? Once a liar, always a liar. And once you lose the trust of somebody, it's never coming back. You might get 99% trust from there on in, but you will never have 100% trust from them again. So I'm not saying go out there and embarrass yourself by putting forward those aspects of your character you are uncomfortable with, or that won't be looked at in a positive manner to those whom you are communicating with. But there is nothing wrong with having ownership of your actions. There is nothing wrong with having ownership of who you have dated in the past. There is nothing wrong with having ownership of the path you have taken in life, because you best believe that that's your choice and that's your route and that's who you are and what you have done. So if you go against it in order to appeal to others, subconsciously they're going to look at you and think, why are you putting down your own actions and choices? If you're a violent drunk, yes, if you're an avid cheater, if you have a dark side which, you know, isn't dark enough to put you in prison, or at least, you know, a respectful way. I'm not saying parade around real dodgy facets of your character, because, you know, I don't think that's right. You know, I'm not going to go into them realms, but what I'm saying is the actions you've taken, the embarrassing moments you've been through, what you are embarrassed about, the moment you start to put it out there and laugh at it and tell stories about it and joke about it, you're going to be an attractive person first and foremost, because you are incredibly open and honest and vulnerable. And that is so sexy to a woman, right? Because she will correlate with that and bounce that back to you. She will mirror that back to you in being honest and vulnerable. And what's more honest and vulnerable than the act of sexual intercourse, which is where it may possibly lead? It's definitely got its parallels, right, as far as communication is concerned. But the moment you start lying, you're a liar. Yes? If you lie about one thing, and I'm not talking white lies, I'm talking about going out of your way to lie for reasons which just will seem unnecessary to the next person. I spoke on this in another video about filling the gaps and not polishing your medals, and what I meant by that was, if you want to be attractive to a woman, it's not about excelling in a particular space. It's about being generally rounded, so they can subconsciously, biologically look at you and deem you an appropriate partner for the sake of childbearing and provision for the most part. And in that video I spoke of, I'm not a great cook. I do not care about cooking whatsoever. But I know that was the gap I had to fill in order to be a more sustainable, well-rounded man. And I'm honest about that to people, you know. I'm not going to pretend to be Gordon Ramsay, because guess what? When people put me forward in the kitchen and say, alright Gordon Ramsay, you said you could cook, and then it turns out I can't, I'm going to humiliate myself by not being the man I said I was. And people are going to look at me like a weak, lying individual, yes? If you're a little bit soft, if you're an emotional man, you don't have to downplay it, because that honesty is attractive. And I know the masculine manosphere are going to tell you, you have to be a man and you have to be stone cold. Do you not think they've got emotions? They're human beings. Of course they've got emotions. They might go out of their way to conceal it. And I'm not saying you need to go into the public and start saying, I cried yesterday. I'm a crier. I've been weeping and crying all day over this romantic film I've been watching. You don't have to do that. You don't have to talk about it. But if somebody asks you, have you ever cried before at a film? If a woman asks you that, generally speaking, I doubt it's going to be too cringeworthy if you say, yeah, yeah, do you know that film? It touched me, you know. It's funny, innit? It touched me. She'll look at you and say, you know what? Most men wouldn't say that. You're different and you're special and you're honourable because you're opening up to me and you're brushing it off like it's nothing. And not only that, but I know you're not going to lie on me in the future. You're not going to go out and cheat on me and so forth. And that's what that woman's looking for, right? Within reason. I know there's disputes and arguments in regards to what the woman wants and doesn't want, but you know where I'm coming from. A man especially is going to look at you. Now don't get me wrong, if you say something like that, he might deem you a little bit lesser if he doesn't share that same perspective or viewpoint or understanding, emotionally speaking, or you know, he may deem you as prey in an animalistic way. But if you can align that honesty with actual masculine traits, such as, you know, being able to stand up for yourself and being sturdy and stable and actually being efficient and effective in your day-to-day life, then he's probably not going to look at you like a mug or an idiot. He's still going to think this is a respectable man. Look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is more than comfortable with expressing himself emotionally, but he's still heavily respected due to his track record and his reputation as a man within the masculine realms. Nobody is looking at him as feminine because he cries every once in a while, right? Don't be afraid to be honest. Be selective with your honesty. Yeah? Choose what you have to be honest about. But when you are honest about something you believe in, be bold. Because nobody is going to listen to the timid. Just be bold, yeah? And on that note, I'm signing out. Peace.